Johannes, nice to see you. Dive in with fitness and in particular a Mankwa Forsen. What can you tell us? Good news?
Better news than expected. He was actually on the pitch today, so way better than expected. We just agreed on that we just wait until tomorrow, see how he will go through the session tomorrow, see how it goes. But it seems like that he'll be able for some minutes in the game on Saturday.
Which, from the position he was, when he went down on Tuesday night, that's really positive news, because you must have feared the worst.
It's fair to say that this is quite unexpected. Just of course looking at when he slipped and also looking back at it again on the video after the game, it didn't look that good, and also just from seeing him. But yeah, straight after the game he was in an okay mood and felt actually okay, so we were a little bit surprised.
Just to clarify, was there a sense that he might have to get himself off to hospital after the game and maybe have the shoulder put back in? And
it was put back in straight, so actually on pitch.
Yeah.
But of course we had to do a scan and see how everything looks like, and it was positive news, and also for him because he's not really in pain. So yeah, we see how it goes, but for now it's positive, definitely.
In terms of the guys who were involved the other night, fitness-wise, any issues come out of that game that we don't know about?
No, everything went fine.
First time since we've asked you about Fashion Act, I think you said last press conference you had to weigh up whether you needed to go the surgery route. Have you made a decision on that?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a surgery, but it is an injury where it is these 5 weeks that we talk about. So it is a little bit not longer than expected, but yeah, more or less as we expected. But of course, we always hope that it can be not that severe. But it looks like 5 weeks.
And we're in the sort of same ballpark with Longy?
Yeah, more or less the same. Of course, also something in his foot, not the ankle, but the foot, and it's also I think 5 weeks from now is realistic.
Just on the game the other night, obviously that was the first start for Cordoba's first sustained minutes. Has he come through that? No issues at all?
No issues at all, and again, positive in terms of injuries after the game Tuesday night, and all of these guys are ready for minutes on Saturday.
Just a reflection on Palace, when you've debriefed it, is it how you saw it on the night in terms of what pleased you, what didn't please you?
I'm not pleased with the goals that we concede, because with all due respect to Palace, it's a good side and they have fantastic players, but I think it's too easy we give these goals away. I'm not satisfied with the first one, where we don't really follow our principles in the game, and we should do better, take better decisions. Of course, the goal, set play goal, the second one is also individual top quality, which you can expect, of course, in these games. But the third and the fourth, I'm not satisfied with. So there was definitely some moments in the game where I think we should have done better, and that was also why I was a little bit annoyed with the performance after, because I think, okay, if they just completely outplay us in some situations, okay, you have to accept that sometimes, but I don't think that was the case here, and I think we should have done better. Then I'm pleased with the performance on the ball, and I like the approach after their first goal, that we kept on going and actually even better and even more than in the beginning. So definitely I was satisfied with that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, particularly from maybe the first goal to maybe when the second and third went in. There was a sustained period there where it did feel you had a lot of control. You were moving it very quickly through the pitch. How close is that to what you want from your team, or do you feel there's so much more to progress in that specific area? That
is close, because I think that's the ambition we have, that we can do that no matter where we play. Of course, it takes some courage. It also takes we need to bring that confidence into the group. But I felt that we also had a good halftime talk where there was really confidence in the group when they came in and could see, okay, we can really compete against these guys here. So. But it takes some courage, and of course it takes a lot of experience in doing that, and still feeling calm that even though you're under pressure. So we're improving, and I think it was a step in the right direction. We should still create more chances and bigger chances, and also maybe a little bit more variation in the game, sometimes to go in behind, sometimes so more direct passes, so it's even more difficult for the opposition to defend.
And is that what gives you that confidence? Because I remember you said after the game that we're not far away from converting chances and scoring 1 or 2 in games. You know, is it because you see the progression in terms of the style of play?
Definitely, and I think what's a thing to look at is the type of chances that we create, and they start now to look like each other, which is always positive because it means that now the pattern starts to be there. Now we start to find a rhythm when we play. Now the players start to feel confident and calm in the positions that we have, and we can create more or less the same type of chances. That's a positive sign, and we did that. And then of course it's about converting these chances because it was big chances, and we should have scored. That was of course also one of the negative points about the game after that. We should have made a 1-1 that's straight after their first goal, and we should have scored for 1-2, which would have opened the game again on these 2 big chances. So we can only work on creating opportunities and make sure that we get into the right places, and then of course we have to focus on the finishing quality as well.
Just to backtrack slightly, I wanted to ask you, because obviously Palace, you made 7 changes. You could maybe, to a degree, put that in isolation as a game. But if you look at Sheffield United, you did limit them to a lot of chances that day. Was that a step forward for you defensively in terms of your work out of possession?
The game against
Sheffield United?
Yeah, I think so. And it was, again, it takes time, and that's why you as a coach, and I don't think people will describe me as the most patient guy on earth, but I try to be, and I have to be, because building a style of play, you cannot do everything just overnight. You cannot do everything in 1 week. So what we did against Sheffield is that we started to work on our low defending, how our position should be, and it was actually the first time that we did that before the Sheffield game, which we also brought to the Palace game Tuesday night, and which of course also will be the future for us when we defend lower. So I think that was a good step. We didn't concede many chances against Sheffield, and we were solid defensively, I think, which is as important as being good offensively.
Just interested, just in terms of as a coach, I mean, now you're looking at your 2 centre-backs. Do you always want that left footer, right footer balance? Because we know how good Callum Dorr was in that Sheffield game. Cordoba looks like now he's an option. Yeah. I mean, would you, just because you want that balance, never go with maybe 2 left-footed centre-back options?
I think definitely there's a chance that we, in the future, will play with 2 left-footed centre-backs.
Can you enlighten me on that? Why do you like that? Because a lot of coaches wouldn't want that. They'd want the balance of left and right foot.
Yeah, but again, it's about the positions you have in front of them. So of course, then you can move a little bit around with the midfield positions. The fullback position can be more inverted in the side where you have, of course, a right-sided central defender that's left-footed. Then he can step more in, or a midfielder that drops a little bit to the side. You can easily work with that. But I think what we see, and that's the positive from the Palace game, is that it's going to be realistic for us that we play with 2 left-footed.
Okay, good, interesting.
Yeah.
I'll get it out of the way. I mean, it's only one more sleep to the transfer window. I bet you can't wait. Friday 11 p.m. closed, and crack on with the squad you've got.
It's been exciting. There's been some busy weeks, I would say. So of course, I think we celebrate with a beer, and the window will close, and then we can start really working with the group, being united, and okay, it's us going forward. And I think that clarity is good for everyone, coaches, staff, players, just to have that certainty. Okay, who's here and who will be here for the next 4 months? That's important.
I mean, you've touched on it there, and you said it was exciting. I mean, it feels like outside looking in, it's been very hectic. I mean, when you sat down with Ben and his team start the summer, did you feel it would be as hectic as this?
I don't think we expected that it would be, and I'm not used to word hectic, because everything has been planned, and from day one I was here, and we started working, Glenn and I, and it was the middle of June. That we came here, we sat down with Ben and Neil and the recruitment staff, and we made a plan, and we said, okay, if we're about to sell a player from this position, okay, make sure that we have at least 3 or 4 players lined up for what we do then. So everything we have done so far has been planned. Of course, you can never plan which clubs who will buy your players, or at least try to buy your players, but you can plan what you will do if it will happen, and that we have done. So we've been ready, and like we have been talking about also, is that the players that we have brought in has been players that we have actually scouted for several months, and also for some of them several years. So we have just made sure that everything is planned. We have the players that we know we can bring in if something happens, and of course maybe 1 or 2 players out more than we expected, but we've been ready to execute on the players.
So from what you've said there, I mean, it hasn't felt that you've had to divert more and more of your time away from being on the coaching pitch, working with players, preparing for championship games.
No, I just do this in the night, so it's it's
do
no
you
problem.
sleep? Do you able to sleep? Got to throw, because I asked you the other night, Slimani. I mean, is he one you're actively working on?
It's fair to say that we are trying. Let's see how it goes. Of course, obviously, he's been a player for Sheffield, been playing some minutes also in the Premier League. So we have to see how it goes. We've been trying.
And again, just in terms of reports, you've been linked to a few wingers. I mean, is that another one? In an ideal world, you'd like to do something between now and tomorrow night? Wingers.
I think in terms of numbers we have now, I think we are well covered. Fair to say, I think we need one more midfielder, which we try to bring in, and then let's see. I think if we have to bring in another player, it's related to also the Abu situation, which is fair to say that for now there's no offers that we can accept. So it seems like that he will stay here. But again, like I said, with the other players, that we have something planned, so we have something lined up. If an offer should come on Abu that we can actually accept, and then we have to bring in a winger or offensive player.
So I mean, in that scenario, if Abu, there isn't an acceptable offer, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily feel you need to go out and bring a wide player in if he's staying in the building.
If Abu stays in the building, no, I don't think we need that necessarily. I think we need a midfield position, one who can cover the central positions on midfield. If he can add some value also in the more offensive position on midfield, that will also be okay. But that's what we need. I think we are well covered also because Ante can play both right side and as a striker. And of course, if Abu stays, then I expect him to be a part of the squad as well. So that's what we have for now. But again, if something comes on Abu that we can actually accept, then we are ready to execute on a offensive player.
So, I mean, obviously it's hypothetical at the moment, but if the window comes and he's still here, would he then come back into your plans for Coventry?
Oh yeah, Coventry here Saturday, Friday night, Of course, we have to. And he's, like I said, he's been training with the group the whole time, so there's nothing there. It's not like he's out of shape or we need to bring him back to match fitness. No, he's there and he's ready. And of course, maybe he will be disappointed. But that's how it is as a football player, being on a contract, and you just have to, hard words, but you have to do your job.
Just one more, and it's regarding the loans out. Something you said again to me Tuesday night, 3 to 5 potentially. Some of them younger players, have you firmed up your plans in that area?
I think we are also close, and we're closing in on some of these decisions as well.
Yeah. So, and again, without giving any names away, we know the players who are related to. Do you just feel there'll be a clutch of younger players not quite near enough first team, need to create them pathways to go and play regularly? Yeah,
and what we're discussing mostly is actually whether it will be beneficial for them to go on loan and have some senior minutes, of course, League 1 or League 2 football, or actually to stay here in this environment and learn every day with the way that we train and the approach we have to both training and games. So it's very much an individual from player to player decision that we have to take, and some will definitely go on loan, and I think also there will be some where we actually decide to keep them here because we can see that they will benefit from the training, and they will also, by being here, being closer to the team.
Bringing it right round to Saturday's game, Coventry away. I mean, safe to say they're probably one of them clubs you would feel they would be in the conversation for the top 6 over the course of the season. Playoff final 2 years ago, FA Cup semi-final. How do you assess the challenge Saturday?
It's going to be a tough one. So what's important is that we can bring the same attitude, the same mentality that we played with against Sheffield, against Palace, especially on the ball stuff, that we can go to Coventry, we can take control over the game, and that will be important for us, because I think if it's going to be a game where we have to defend too much, then it's not in our favour. So the approach that we have seen the last couple of games is also going to be the approach for Saturday. And
looking at Coventry and sort of their sort of strengths, I mean, where do you feel you'll need to be good? Is it just that trying to control the game?
Yeah, there's many ways to look at it. Of course, they have some powerful players up front, and they have some strong players up front. So you can talk about defending that, or you can talk about actually avoiding that by being much on the ball, because then you limit the situations that they actually have, and that's the approach that we're going to take to it. Of course, we need to prepare. Of course, we need to make sure that we are defensively prepared as well, and we know how they create chances, because it will obviously happen in the game. But we have to make sure that it's not too many times.
Just final one from me. I mean, it's the last game going into the first international break.
Yeah.
You've been very close, Blackburn and Sheffield, to that first league win. Does it feel bigger that you haven't got the first win yet going into this, knowing that you've got a 2-week break the other side?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So you don't feel, just get that win on the board and then it's behind you.
I want to win every game that we play.
Yeah.
So if it's 2 games in a row where we haven't won, then I will be as frustrated as if it was 1 or 5 or whatever. I want to win every game we play, and it will be the same on Saturday. So if we don't win it, I'll be annoyed. I'll be frustrated. We have to go back and look at how we can be even better. But it's the same. It doesn't matter if it's 5 games or 10 or whatever in a row. We just have to make sure that when we're out there, we're there to win, and it will be the same approach on Saturday.
Thanks, Johannes. Good luck, Sammy.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.